Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, a 1 vs 1 on Simwaski awaits you. Yes, indeed, Simwaski. And a 1 vs 1. This map can actually also be played as a 2 vs 2, so that is why I'm rather specifying this. But we shall be watching Tristan fighting for the Soviet Union for the 2nd Guards Tank Corps, going out against Northwestfreshreborn, fighting for the Großdeutschland Panzergrenadier Division. Also, a slight note of, well, you know, problematic subjects is basically, there was a patch released earlier this week which rendered a lot of replays useless, also including a bunch of submissions for the Sunday Ambush Challenge. So, in consideration because of that, in my great mercy, I have decided to extend the Sunday Ambush Challenge with another week to give people to come up with a chance of submitting some fresh ones, due to the fact, again, that the patch rendered a lot of them useless, and it was more or less, you know, close to the end of the week, so figure that was fair enough. Again, challenges use the ambush camouflage ability for the Germans, either Storm Doctrine or Jaeger Infantry Doctrine. Make some good use of it, some interesting usage, some effective usage of it. Send it into propagandacast@gmail.com and mark email and the replay Sunday Ambush Challenge. So there you go. On to the match itself. Tristan heading west, heading into the town. We also noting here that in fact Northwest Fresh is also heading out to sides. Though noting he's in fact now rushing straight for the fuel point here. Now on Simwaski the more direct path towards fuel is straight forwards here. Or this way. Actually where the previous one in company use of course was to head rightwards. It's not really the effective way now, but instead we are in fact seeing that Northwestfreshreborn is going for that approach. Going for the fuel point there. More forces arriving here. 3rd squad of conscripts on the way. 2 grenadier squads up for Northwestfreshreborn. And there we go. First engagement. Combat Indians versus the Pioneers. MP40s blazing away as the Combat Indians try to pull back. Point there being secured. Soviets securing the center of the town or the village of Simwaski. Also noting in terms of doctrines, we've got guard motor, guard rifle, and shock motor, so nothing highly unusual there for Northwest Fresh. We're seeing spearhead, Jaeger armor, and assault support. But let's pop back to Tristan. Grenadiers moving up. MG42 moving up as well. And setting up a blocking position here, going for the pin on Samoa a bit. Although, of course, that machine guns will still can affect something, and certainly the troops in this house will be able to cause a bit of a headache. But at the same time, of course, we're seeing movements being made here by the Pioneers, although conscripts might sort that one out as well. Quick hoorah out of there. Away from the MG42. Well done, instead going to push down here. Fun. Pioneers are getting caught between 2 conscript squads very soon. That's going to be a painful experience. Although so far Northwestfreshreborn is holding most of the fuel, but on the other hand he's not quite controlling it directly in terms of supply lines, at least not the western one. And this one will also be falling soon. The Pioneers can't hold out forever. And we're seeing Molotovs up for Tristan. 4 conscript squads, Molotovs. Infantry heavy approach here from Tristan. And the Pioneers are running into a lot of fire, a lot of rifle fire. Not looking good. And there we go, forced to retreat. Down to 1 man. While the conscripts do what they can from inside the building here, coming under fire from the MG42. And some grenadiers from a flanking position. Another Pioneer squad out for Northwestfreshreborn. Interesting enough, also a mortar up. Interesting. But did he actually miss something, and he only had 1 squad of grenadiers actually, and 2 squads of Pioneers instead. I think that might have happened, which is perhaps not so good for Northwestfreshreborn, as that means he will be rather low on infantry. But mortar firing away, Pioneers, Grenadiers, MG42 leading the way. Right hand side falling in, and looks like Tristan is so far mostly focused on securing the center and the right half of the map and center of the map. Less engaged about this initially. Might of course move in there later on. But basically trying to secure a nice stable front line. Special Rifle Command up. Oh, Molotov against the MG42. The Molotov has always been quite effective when it hits. Well, it usually tends to be, and in fact, there we go. Most of the MG crew is dying up, horribly burning. Terrible, terrible things happening. Getting into the house, becoming under intense mortar fire. Pioneers moving up with our Flammenwerfer, going to burn out the Orson. And there we go, a bit clumped up. Need to be careful here. And the Molotov going in. Mortar rounds falling in. And the Pioneer's flamethrower tank actually burst into flame. The entire place is inferno. Another mortar round breaks through this straw-thatched roof. Not looking good. In fact, also looks like it's cooking in there. Not good at all. Fresh forces pushing forwards. Another combat engineer squad on the way. Looks like nothing so far is coming out of the Special Rifle Command. Nothing going on here. Looks like Mr. Northwestfreshreborn might be going for a heavy tier 1 to go for the armor afterwards. We are in fact now seeing additional squads of grenadiers arriving. In fact, 3 squads of them now. Two, 3 grenadier teams, a mortar and a heavy machine gun, and 2 pioneers. That's definitely quite a bit.
Replacements have arrived. That provide half the point. Combat engineers.
Mortar crew a bit exposed, though not looking good for these gentlemen of the Großdeutschland. They will need to get away.
We are ready to build it or blow it.
And the Großdeutschland being one of the most elite divisions within the German army. Certainly being better equipped than most divisions, even Panzer divisions. And of course getting the best recruits.
We must defend this territory. Your command?
But another flamethrower equipped here for Northwestfreshreborn. Grenadiers moving up. Pioneers, interesting enough, not moving up, but looks like they might have wanted the Grenadiers to take the fire. And there we go, Flammenwerfer mortar rounds going in. MG42 adding in, the conscripts getting caught. Although also an interesting fact with this house, it actually has a back door now. In the previous game there was only one door, and that was pretty much out here in the front. Same with the church, it actually also has a back way in. So in several cases the houses are less death traps. Rifle grenade here, almost wiping out the combat in his squad. Conscripts running out straight in front of the flamethrower and the pioneers. Oh goodness gracious. And meanwhile conscripts squad flanking up, but a quick burst of fire lights Boris and Vasily. A light, rather brutal punishment here delivered onto the Soviet army. Conscripts pulling back towards the cemetery, perhaps even further than that. Further fighting down here, Molotov against the Grenadiers. Grenadiers quick rushing in. And we are seeing the Tankowy Battalion Command going up. Nothing of the sort from Northwestfreshreborn. Nothing that could actually stop it, which could definitely be to advantage of Tristan.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture the territory. Incoming rounds.
No Grenadier upgrades as of yet. Another house rather smoking heavily.
This piece of dirt.
And there we go, Molotov into the house. Grenadiers out of the house. There we go. Veteran C2 for the Pioneers into the church. MG42 also setting up within it, it looks like. Nope, just behind it.
Awaiting orders.
And there we go. And there's absolutely nothing, in fact, to cover Northwestfreshreborn against any armoured rushes. He's not even got telemines down. I mean, nothing around here. Some of the vital retreat spots. Bit of nice harassment going up here. In fact, Northwestfresh is pushing up for the flanks, going to take away as much territory as possible from Tristan. That's good. Tristan. Pioneers will need reinforcements. I would still like to see some mines though, because soon that's going to be a T-70 hitting. Of course he doesn't know that, but he probably should be expecting that, since he's pretty much only seen conscripts for almost 10 minutes now. Even with Molotovs that long usually indicates something a bit more nasty is going to come soon. And there we go, the T-70 light tank. Conscripts ooh-rahing straight into the house.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
And we see a sniper out for Northwestfreshreborn. Very heavy tier 1, in fact. With the addition of that sniper, and nothing's really stopped the T-70.
Man down!
T-70 slightly rolling ahead. And immediately opening up in the Grenadiers. 45mm gun, machine gun firing away as well. There we go, we are seeing that. Northwestfreshreborn is forced to abandon the centre, popping over to him. He is in fact teching up, he's already got tier 2, but he's got nothing to stop the T-70. And certainly here would be a good opportunity for Tristan to basically pursue the enemy and deliver a great blow. Although of course he will be heading straight into the enemy's lair, and of course there are chances of Panzerfausts knocking it out. But still, for reasons like this, it's not necessarily a bad idea to mine the roads. And he'd done that, that T-70 probably would be gone already. So a bit of a missed opportunity there, considering he actually held the village for quite some time. He took absolutely no opportunity to mine it, which is definitely a bit depressing. But
That's it! Fully reinforced!
have no fear, the support armor core is here, which also likely means some Panzers or Sturmgeschütz soon enough. Tristan all of a sudden getting rather passive. He should consider mining, and there we go. This is a good spot for mining. Good spot, the crossroads. He should also mine here. Here, I mean, on Samoa there are so many good mining spots. That's one of the fun parts of this map, of course. Mining and finding new spots to mine. This is also, of course, a rather classic spot for mines. This one as well. This one as well. And ooh, this one. So there we go, TM35 mine. Should be able to catch any unwary fascist bastard. And there we go, large assault going up. In fact, he needs to be a bit careful he doesn't get caught in anything nasty. And we see that Tristan actually gets a sniper of his own. Mines in front of the church. Lovely. Lovely.
Enemy Panzer has spotted us! Panzer! They're taking Panzer fire!
Playing a bit cautious with this T-70 tank, and we are going to soon be seeing an Austrian flak Panzer arriving. There we go.
Flak Panzer has arrived. Enemy forces are
Northwestfreshreborn shifting paths away from the centre of the town, knowing there's a T-70 there. Instead, he's going to head north. Good move. Although as soon as the Austrian takes care of something down in the centre, of course they might move in back. Oh, sniper going to get caught by the Austrian.
enemy fire!
That's generally every sniper. But we do see that Tristan is quick to retreat. Now there's just the T-70, which needs to consider getting out there since the armour is pretty flimsy. And sadly Tristan did not pull it back, resulting in a pretty easy kill for the Austrian flak Panzer. A bit of a shame there. And a T-34 arrives to avenge its brother tankist. Or possibly sister.
It's ready to use. Pioneers!
Mines up here, good, good. Although we see a mine going off here.
Pioneer squad!
Fuel cache, yes. T-34 moving ahead, Grenadiers, ooh, not be able to spot it. But no, we do see that Tristan is pulling back the T-34 reasonably successfully in the face of this. No upgrades for the Grenadiers, by the way, no upgrades, no light machine guns at all.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks!
Ooh, Austrian, there we go. Damaged engine, down to less than half health, T-34 getting repaired. But can it make it there fast enough? And there we go, spotting the fuel cache and Panzerfausting it. A bit excessive. Oh, sniper! Got one hit on the Soviet sniper. Can the Soviet sniper get the counter snipe? No, the church saves the day. Saved by the grace of engineering or architecture, whatever. T-34 takes another Panzerfaust to the side. And the situation proceeds to get a bit hairy. Mortar continues to blast away, and looks like the fuel cache might soon go down here to the efforts of Northwestfreshreborn. Another Panzerfaust, pretty insistent little bugger. Sniper reinforced. Bunker going up, so that's a medic bunker. Tristan holding the centre, diverting forces towards the north as well to take things back there. Lovely, lovely. No mines here though, no mines here. I'm a bit disappointed, Tristan.
Infantry contact!
A bit quiet at the moment. Panzer IV on the way. Panzerkampfwagen 4.
Are securing our territory. We have a full complement.
Slow but steady advance. And the Soviet player Tristan is dominating most of the map. We do see the arrival of the Panzer IV finally. Might consider upgrading with a light machine gun for added effects. And another T-34 rhyming in the meanwhile for Tristan. Fresh mines going up there, lovely, lovely. Oh, telemine went off. Damn close that one. More mines going up, at least Tristan has been consistent with that. Good, good. Second T-34 arrives to support the first one. Conscript sneaking about.
HMG here. Panzer 4.
A third squad of pioneers. I think Northwestfreshreborn might be going a bit over top with those. Over the top. You couldn't step perhaps consider something like, oh, I don't know, perhaps a cache. Fuel cache would not be off. Troops getting sniped on both sides. Fighting for the western fuel point as they obviously can't reach the eastern fuel point. And there we go. Tristan mining this spot as well. Wonderful, wonderful. The German player is a bit contained at the moment, having a hard time what to do. Looks like we're actually seeing him back taking a bit. And getting minesweepers, having realised his opponent is pretty damn persistent when it comes to the mines. So obviously that might be the reason why he actually got this third squad of pioneers, simply to get the minesweeper gear. Now he could consider getting a pack panzer gun. This could also work. And there we go, T-34's on the move. At the current stage, they might have a chance of overcoming either the Panzer IV, the Ostwind. There we go, T-34's advancing. Empty fire, building up, ready to collapse. Conscript squad almost wiped out, but the T-34s are moving in. And there we go, Company squad does go down. Pioneers for the minesweepers, realizing the minesweeper sucks against armor. Ach du lieber Heinz, I thought this was a Wunderwaffen. Nein, it's a minesweeper.
Awaiting orders. Here comes Ivan! Was ist los?
Both tanks are not looking too good. Looks like a mortar round actually set off the mine, damaging the engines of both. Always be careful about your own mines, or around your own mine, when there's a mortar about. We might get an unexpected surprise.
Taking fire from enemy Panzer!
Oh, mortar round almost right up the conscript squad there, gaining the mortar crew veterancy too in the process. And there we go, pack arrives. Looks like a support armor corps going, armor company going up for Tristan. He might be considering getting field guns himself, so fun there. Bit of a mirrored reaction from both players. And the church collapses. no longer able to bear the punishment. I'm popping back to Tristan. Sniper hiding in the garden here. Doing his best to be a shrubbery. Ich bin ein Shrubbery, ich bin ein Busch. Ich bin nicht eine deutsche Scharfschütze waiting to shoot a Soviet soldier in the eye. Nein. And ammunition cache going up here for Northwestfreshreborn. Shock rifle doctrine up here for Tristan. Allowing his conscripts to repair his tanks. Shock troopers and of course the allowing of the ISU-152 heavy assault gun to be called in. Movement here in the north. Grenadier squad though getting caught off guard, rather low in health, and a Molotov's going to be locked through one of the buildings. This could actually prove to the advantage of the conscripts if Northwestfreshreborn. Oh dear, Grenadier squad wiped out. Grenadier squad wiped out. What a shame, what a shame.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands. The fascists attack!
Not sure leading the assault with the pack was the greatest idea there from Northwestfreshreborn. There we go, pack opening up, T-34's pulling back, field gun moving up as well. Sniper hiding.
Supply sector under attack.
Panzer IV doing nothing as of yet, T-34 advancing. Lots of fire being poured all the way, and the sniper spotted as well. It looks like he managed to get out of there. And there we go, the Panzer IV moves in, but comes under direct fire from the field gun and the T-34. Quickly getting it down to half health, and meanwhile another small assault going in from the south here. Panzer fast might be used here to stop the T-34, at least damage the engine, but no. Armour is getting repaired rather desperately. Veteran T2 for the Soviet field gun. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And they're going to do squad here close to death, close to extinction. And there we go, taught. Oh, armor-piercing rounds there, got the T-34. Well done, nice opportunity taken there by Northwestfreshreborn, and the gambit paid off. Could have lost him the MD crew and handed over an MD4 to his enemy. In this case, the armor-piercing rounds were able to penetrate the side armor of the T-34 at this range and knock it out.
Enemy infantry! We are taking losses! Open up on us!
Things are getting a bit ugly here for Tristan. Husband's punishing the flank troops. And Pioneers are getting caught in a bit of a nasty situation as well. And we'll be forced to pull out of there. More T-34s arriving. Tristan definitely not giving up. Oh, nice hit there from a T-34. Took out a huge chunk of the Pioneers. T-35 advance coming under fire from the Panzer IV. And a bombing strike being called in by the from a Sturmovik. Incredibly heavy armoured Soviet fighter bomber, known as the Flying Tank amongst other many less flattering nicknames given to it. In this case, the Panzer IV was able to actually dodge it, though the cemetery is currently not really looking structurally sound. Only a few tombstones are left. And certainly the village is getting increasingly leveled.
Okay, that's the last one.
Tristan sticking to his C-34, so no attempt to say going for the ISU-152, which is a bit of a shame. Opel Blitz up, that means assault support has been chosen. Sadly, no officers in sight, half-track arriving. And there we go, Ostwind loose in the north, killing an Incommodate squad, and we're also noting now that Tristan is beginning to run out of men and other vital units. Interesting, these Northwestfreshreborn is leaving an MD42 up here. He might just do it with a bunker, which would be ultimately cheaper in the longer run. Quickly trying to ram the Panzer IV, succeeds. T-34 mobilized, another T-34 moving in. Pat the firing way. He could try for a target weak point right here. Target weak point, but no. And oh, Panzer IV got it to actually kill the crew, abandoning the T-34. And we're seeing a strafing run going in for the German player. Our Stuka quickly moves in. Things are heating up here in the center. Mortar crew took a direct hit from the T-34. Pack cleared out. Direct hit from the mortar though on the top of the T-34. Almost wipes it out. Things are getting a bit unfriendly. And the Ostwind arrives, attacking from the rear. Going straight after the conscripts even, it seems.
You have a target.
And another strafing run. No anti-aircraft cover being provided here by Tristan at the moment. A bit of quiet again. The options are plentiful, although so a player might want to punish the flanks a bit more. A single half-track with some units in it could quickly clear up the west flank, for example, at the current moment. And of course he needs to recruit that other T-34, get it back into action before the Germans wreck it, or perhaps even beat him back and take it. And there's going to be a bit of while the Panzer IV is receiving its repairs. The main gun is wrecked.
You want a sniper? Sniper under fire!
Oof. Nice little ambush there by the Pioneers.
The new men have arrived.
Flammpanzerwagen for the Großdeutschland. And a pack stone. Oh, sniper took care of that. And there we go. Oh, field gun might get flanked right here. T-34 in trouble. Ostwind needs to be careful he doesn't get caught in front of the field gun, which is veteran 2, meaning increased damage. Oh, T-34 rams the Ostwind. Veteran to flee for the field gun. Can the Panzer IV, and it blitzkrieks as well. There we go. Field gun is cleared out. Shock troops being called in now to support the 5th Guards armor. No, second Guards tank corps. Either way. So it's getting some shock troops. Things looking a bit grim. Pioneers rising out, going to repair that Ostwind. And a Tiger tank has arrived. The Tiger is here. Oh, nice Molotov here against the Pioneers. Immediately lighting several of them on fire. Almost wiping out the 2 Pioneer squads in the process. Oh no. Last man made it out of there alive, although his flamethrower tank did cook off. MG42 probably looks like he hit a mine. Things are definitely desperate here around. The Tiger might though be able to stabilize the situation in case of another assault. But we also see that Tristan lost most of his armored forces in this rather severe skirmish. But it looks like Northwestfreshreborn is not quite done yet, pushing ahead. He might try to go for a base rush and finish it all here and now, which could in theory actually work, considering what Tristan currently has.
Good work, comrades. This now belongs to us. The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Red 22 for the Panzer IV. Armored skirts are up. Also, fun fact, a Panzer IV with armored skirt was actually quite commonly mistaken for a Tiger tank due to the seemingly larger size due to all of the extra armor plating. So, little fun fact there. And looks like the Germans are actually pulling back. Looks like Northwestfreshreborn is quite worried about what. Oh, also note here, he actually pulled back the troops as far away as possible. Didn't want to get caught in something. And ooh, fragmentation bombing run by the looks of it. No, a strafing run. Interesting, interesting. Another half-track arriving, and time to pull back to Northwestfreshreborn. Time for the mid-game analysis. Now then, the current situation is rather, in terms of map control, in the favour of Northwestfreshreborn. He's also currently got the larger armoured component. He's got the Tiger tank, although that might want to do with an upgrade. He's got a Panzer IV, Veteran 2, which could also do with a machine gun upgrade. He's got a Flak Panzer Veteran 1, but closing in on Veteran 2, half-tracks, and Opel Blitz, and a munitions gas, meaning there's clearly a lot of munitions going into the pockets of Northwestfreshreborn. Of course, the question is, can he actually fully utilise it? On the other hand, where there's a huge gap is in his infantry. He's pretty much got none at all. He's got some pioneers, but those are not grenadiers. He's got a sniper and MG42, which is currently basically one man. And he's got the mortar crew, so he needs to put together some infantry forces rather quickly, otherwise his tanks are going to be a bit unsupported. He also needs to upgrade the tanks, and of course he needs to keep them together. Currently this position, for example, is not the best for the Panzer IV, despite even being Veteran 2. It's also less than half health, and won't last much longer, so that needs to be pulled back and receive some urgent repairs. Of course, there's also T-34 here, which could be recovered. That could definitely further increase the armoured force of Northwestfreshreborn, which is great. There's also field gun, but still one of his primary priorities should be getting some bloody infantry out on the field. He needs proper boots on the ground, either Panzer Grenadiers or Grenadiers, although I think Grenadiers would be a cheaper option. Upgrade with like machine guns, also get a field officer out to support them. So that would definitely be it, and of course also perhaps consider applying some pressure over here on the right flank, also moving up and harassing here a bit. For Tristan, things are not exactly looking good. He's been pushed back to his base. He's got some veterans infantry. He's actually got some infantry, which is rather what's going for him. On the other hand, he's rather lacking in assets in dealing with armour. Of course, he can quickly try and get himself some field guns, and that way try to break through, and that might work, although it's going to be certainly a bit consuming. Of course, with all the armour, there's a chance, of course, the armour will try and break through and basically roll him over. But that would definitely be my initial suggestion, since I don't think any amount of T-34s right away we could be able to solve it. So first up, some field guns to support his infantry, apply some pressure here perhaps, or go for a longer push up the west flank, trying to draw Northwestfreshreborn out of the town and into more open ground, with the field gun certainly also would be dominating. That would be another possibility. Of course, a third one would be also conducting a small raid towards here, getting the Opel Blitz and the munitions cache along with it. That would definitely also hurt Northwestfreshreborn, and certainly, I mean, one of the things that's going to be supplying a lot is, of course, those munitions groupings right there, and that will definitely support Northwestfreshreborn for quite a bit of the fight, which is good, which is sensible. Only thought right there. And of course, another thing that Northwestfreshreborn might be doing, of course, is just mining. I mean, mine here, mine there, perhaps mine here, and of course this area will be well served with some S-mines to cover it, basically from infantry advances. But let's return to the fight. Stuka continues to patrol above. Panzerkampfwagenfähre rolling back. Troops sneaking about. And this MG42 needs to be pulled back before it's too late. Reinforcing in the half check, good use of that, of course, to keep things going there. Panzer IV will need repairs, and there we go, recruiting the T-34. Well done. Half check moving up, so can reinforce, but again needs infantry. And he still wouldn't be completely badly off with some machine guns here, increasing their firepower versus infantry, but of course also providing a bit of light anti-aircraft support. Strafing run, catching a few unfortunate conscripts down south. Assault going in there, although we do see a small force going up here, and that's a shock troopers catching the MG42. He should have retreated. Instead, he might in fact lose the MG42, which could definitely be to the advantage of Tristan, and there we go. A definite boom there. That could definitely also be used to suppress the defenders, which would certainly be hard pressed to deal with it. So a bit of a mistake there from Northwestfreshreborn. Mines going up in case of an assault. Anti-tank gun up, or field gun up more specifically. And there we go, we also see the Soviet field gun has been secured by the Germans. Wunderbar, wunderbar. And there we go, all of a sudden we do see... Oh, he's not repaired the Panzer IV. He actually decided to go straight over and focus on the T-34 before the Panzer IV, though I would say the Panzer IV merited more interest since, you know, it's the Veteran T2 one, which would make it more durable and, of course, much, much closer to Veteran T3 and the increased damage that gives.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
And there we go, T-34 arrives. No attempt, it seems, at an ISU-152. Would be nice for Tristan to get that, I think. Munitions continue to pour in. My apologies for the coughs. Still no infantry in sight. And there we go, conscripts moving up. Tiger and T-34 unleashing death. He might want to detach the T-34 to clear out things up there. Instead, we are going to see he's actually making an armoured assault. T-34 leads the way, Panzer IV follows up. Tiger then follows up on that. Bit dangerous. Troops setting up position there for reconnaissance purposes and coming under fire. Sniper spotted. No machine guns. That could have helped a bit against the snipers much quicker. But again, no such luck or interest. Maybe slow approach here from Tristan. Northwestfreshreborn seems a bit unsure what to do. He seems to be going on in the defensive. I think he should be pushing his advantage since again he has 4 tanks. Well, the one on there is a flak panzer and just try to push the advantage, try to do some serious damage. In particular, if you can time it correctly with a fragmentation bomb. So we're seeing the T-34 being sent off on its own. Oh dear, conscripts rushing ahead. Field gun firing, anti-tank gun connecting with the side of the T-34, damaging the engine. Panzer IV and Tiger advancing. Damaged engine, another T-34 arriving, Panzer IV moving up ahead. Where's the Tiger? Why is the Tiger not following up? T-34 ramming the rear. Yes, well done there, but why is the Tiger not up at the front, Northwestfreshreborn? Why are you sending in your tanks unsupported? You were doing so well. Now you just waited in your tanks. What's going on? Panzer IV needs support. Get moving, man. Finally, the Tiger moves. He's also floating quite a bit of manpower. Looks like Northwestfreshreborn is falling apart in some manner. Not sure what seems to be his major malfunction at this stage of the fight. But certainly I cannot ascribe any logic to his actions. In particular, considering he's up till then otherwise played quite nicely. Then all of this seems like a rather severe blunder. Tiger doing what it can now, though, stopping some conscripts. Panzer IV, though, gets wrecked. It really shouldn't have happened, but instead it did, because what did he do? He rushed into Panzer IV utterly alone. He split up his tanks, for that matter. Not supporting them properly, again lacking infantry, lacking the officer, which could also be helped, and certainly not pushing in the Tiger. I mean, if anything, the Tiger should have been leading the assault. I mean, it's built for that. Due to his thicker frontal armor and more health. So why on earth he's sending the Panzer IV, which of course Veteran 2 is certainly nice, but still would have been better to sort of have the Tiger take the attention, then have the Panzer IV rush in afterwards. So that was really a rubbish assault from Northwestfreshreborn, which wasted him a T-34 and a Veteran 2 Panzer IV, and of course he didn't even get to use his Tiger tank very much. So I mean, currently that Tiger tank's just not really doing much for him at all, which is not really helpful either. Another Opel Blitz up, still floating a lot of manpower all of a sudden here. Northwestfreshreborn, you need infantry. Schnell. Or is he trying for another Tiger tank? Which I suppose is a possibility. Ooh, catching the field gun right there. And Veteran 2 with the sniper grenades going in there, killing the field gun crew. Why the Tiger isn't pushing in is beyond me. I mean, for some reason he got the Tiger, but he's not using it at all. And there we go, Veteran 2 for the Ostwind, making it tougher. Oh, sniper spotted. Oh, one down, one down. Now, of course, he's sending in the Tiger unsupported on its own, without anything to help, without anything to provide cover. Though he does seem to realise that it might be a bad idea and he's proceeding to pull it back. And meanwhile, T-30 horse rushing in. There's nothing to cover the centre. A field gun getting flanked here. Well done by Tristan, making good use of his T-34s. Ostwind rushing in rather recklessly. Field gun cleared up. Mortar in trouble. Ty getting off a nice hit there on the rear of the T-34. Ostwind clearing out the field gun. And there we go, ramming into the rear, of course. I mean, ramming has less of a chance now of succeeding against heavy tanks, but I mean, if you ram the rear, it's definitely going to have a much higher likelihood of succeeding. So nice move there by Tristan. Tiger is all of a sudden not very useful. Northwestfreshreborn really not having gotten the most out of his Tiger at all. Instead, what we see here is that Tristan actually took pretty good advantage of the situation, punished the rest of the armour, waited for the Tiger until it was on its own, and then proceeded to deal with it. It's a good job there, although Northwestfreshreborn certainly made it a lot bloody easier. And only now he's actually beginning to pull away his Tiger tank. Now getting a Panzer IV, although he might just cancel it and get himself another Tiger tank, and then again he might not use it very well either. Lots of munitions being floated. Another Molotov against the Pioneers. Well done job there. Knowing he can't, get the Tiger tank that way, he can at least delay the repairs of it. And meanwhile, fresh Soviet troops moving up. Field gun recruit. Ostwind has successfully escaped. Good job there, Northwestfreshreborn. At least he can preserve that. Quick fragmentation bombing run going in. A Stuka ready to unleash death. But it misses. Oh dear. Shock troopers making short work of the Pioneers. Although they just gained veterancy too. And he's actually splitting up the Tiger, moving away from anything that might be able to help it. I can't help but feel that's a bad move. Field gun moving up. I mean, they're going to have an easy time with the Tiger because again it was pretty much forced away from the rest of the army. Northwestfreshreborn had two paths to choose, and he chose the one that aided his enemy. T-34 might go down, but the Tiger might sit. Oh, there's the mine, of course, there's the mine! Oh, there we go! Field gun is down, T-34 might go down, but the Tiger tank is in a dire state. And there we go, T-34 down. That was bloody well close, bloody well close. Ostwind covering up here, although also heavily damaged. Things are certainly getting a bit tense, popping back to Tristan. Huge piece of T-34 stuck in the Tiger. Fun little graphical bug. And again, the lack of infantry is really hampering and limiting what Northwest Fresh can do. Because there's nothing here as a opponent, there's nothing really holding back the Soviet infantry, which means that the Soviet infantry has a much easier chance of basically dealing with the tanks. They now just need to basically rush up with some anti-tank grenades in several cases or just take points. I mean, basically there's much less to stop them, although we do now see the field officer out, which is about damn time. And there we go, anti-tank grenade on the Austrian Flakpanzer. And the Pioneers immediately proceed to repair the Panzer IV. I think the Tiger tank might be a higher priority. So wait with the Panzer IV, which is in a reasonable combat state, get the Tiger going again, because that's also considerably more expensive. Nope, he decides to focus on the Panzer IV. Can't help but feel that. It's a bit of a miss. Opportunity right there. Getting ready for another push. Now 2 field guns up. Though he's still getting T-34s to help, deal with the infantry, run around in circles. keep the enemy's tanks a bit more off guard. So they can't just rush in behind the field guns with impunity either. A nice mix there. A bit of artillery though might help out Tristan a bit, a mortar. And there we go, Tiger spotted. Repairing the Ostwind rather than Tiger. It seems like he's given up on the Tiger tank, to be honest. Strafing run rolling in. There we go, the field officers moving up. And the field gun here is firing away at the now very exposed Tiger tank. Not sure why he's going for concentrated fire like that when he's moving in with nothing else in support. Seems a bit silly. And there we go, he's actually using the calling artillery ability of the... No, he's calling in smoke. Smoke, now that's interesting. Not a bad idea, of course, allows him to block the point without taking fire from the enemy. Although, another argument might have been he might want to use the smoke to cover the Tiger as it's pulled out of there, instead of trying to secure the central victory point. Just a thought. Tiger tank that quickly rushes in. Though it is taking rather intense fire from German tanks. Panzerkampfwagen 4 rolls ahead, 75mm Kampfwagenkanone firing away. Field gun here getting veterans to one. Tiger tank almost out, and there go, he's ramming into it. Shocking the crew. Not otherwise doing more beyond that, but still it was enough. Field gun gets it. Field gun gets it. The rest of the armour is getting caught in a crossfire between the two field guns. Veteransing up. There we go. Veteransing 2 increasing the damage. Ostwind needs to get out of there. And this one just needs to blitz, blitz, blitz. And the Panzer IV went down. He could also have called in some smoke to cover the Panzer IV's retreat, but sadly did not happen. Ostwind taking direct hits. Blitzing away. Good job there at least. Some reasonable armor preservation, but still not flawless. At least not without some problems. And there we got a second Tiger tank arrives. Will Northwestfreshreborn be able to utilize it a bit better than the previous one? And of course he's still not, you know, doing alright, but I do feel like he could be doing a lot better. In some regards, looks like another fragmentation bombing run. Oh, got the field gun wrecking it, but this one got veterancy free. He might want to actually merge some with it because the crew which is currently there is rather low on health. So some more healthy crew members might prove to be advantageous in retaining that veterancy free on the field gun.
Detection of enemy vehicles can now be achieved.
Might need to defrag things a bit again.
The enemy has...
Oh well. Bit unfortunate that happens here at the end when things get interesting. Tire getting repaired. Clapping things up a bit too much here. We are going to see here that Tristan is going to push forward. He's facing a Tiger tank and some other nasty bits. But again, there's a lack of infantry, and that could really prove to be the advantage here for Tristan. Shock troops making the advance. Tiger tanks generally not managing to do much, and bombing strike called in, and IL-2 Sturmovik moves in. And good lord! Tiger tank almost done. Pioneers dead. Ostwind dead. Pack crew very dead. And that was a pretty much the moment here where Tristan might have won the fight. He just gutted Northwest Fresh. He lacked infantry. He lacked something to form a front line with, which pretty much allowed Tristan to move up here, call in a bombing strike, and almost wipe it all out. Infantry matters.
Waiting for your command. Aim fire on this position.
And while the field officer is quite spiffing, I mean, he can't do all the work on his own.
Of the Soviet Union.
And already there, most of them are dead to a Molotov. Tiger tank in dire need of repairs. T-34 moving in. Points being secured. Barely anything left here for Northwest Fresh. I mean, that pretty much just cost him the game. Granted, I mean, he wasn't looking that secure to winning, but I mean, he has no chance of coming back now, I would argue. Since while Tristan might be lacking in armour, well, he's getting some, he's actually also got considerably more veteran infantry and field guns and snipers and what not.
Soldiers ready. Comrade.
Just going to speed this up a bit. We're at the end.
Fresh units on the field.
Now all of a sudden he's actually getting panzer grenadiers again. I feel that's a little late. Sniper moving up.
M5, ready.
And the M5 half track.
The replacements have arrived.
Moving the T-34 ahead. Getting caught right here by the Tiger. But the Tiger's very low in health. If the T-34 can get behind the Tiger, there's definitely a chance of victory.
Enemy forces capturing supply.
And there we go. And Tiger down. Tiger down. Half track down and game over. A loss to the Germans, to the Großdeutschland. A victory for the Soviet Union. Glory. All that. Bit of a brutal ending here to this match. We saw Northwestfreshreborn having a nice, good, solid start. Went for a heavy tier 1, then the armour, but you know, things began slightly falling apart then. Pretty much it was the assault right here with the veterans, 2 Panzer IV, and the T-34 split up without any proper support that rather, I think, you know, set him on the course for defeat. Until then he was holding on pretty good. But then this came, he wasted the Panzer IV, essentially the T-34, and after that's the Tiger, because he split them up with no support whatsoever. And, I mean, that pretty much allowed Tristan to focus all of his resources to knock them out. And Tristan certainly did. So, I mean, he played quite well with the T-34s, support them with field guns, had nice infantry. He actually kept his infantry, unlike Northwestfreshreborn, who actually lost a lot of infantry and didn't replace it, which rather cost him an opportunity to hold the front line. He didn't mine very well either. I think he had 1 mine. And for example, nothing to cover this spot either, for example, a machine gun bunker or some mines. I mean, had Northwestfreshreborn also mined a bit more aggressively, a bit more sensibly, I think he also would have stood a much better chance of actually winning. But again, in that sense, there were some considerable gaps in Northwestfresh strategy as the game proceeded, which allowed Tristan in the upper hand, or in the end, to actually gain the victory, because, you know, Tristan actually mined. And Tristan, you know, used his doctrine, he used his units quite nicely as well. And certainly got something out of the T-34s. Granted, they didn't quite survive as much as one could have hoped for, but, you know, he did some damage, and he certainly knocked out several Tiger tanks, Panzer IVs, and whatnot. So ultimately, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not replay your own? Provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.